Alright, Miken Ultra Big Cat. Huge thanks to David Truax yet again. Did that unwrap so clean, and I wasn't even thinking about it. Huge thanks to David Truax for getting this to us so we could check it out. The Miken Big Cat Gamer Series, 26 ounce. Gonna have that Endload going, 13.5-inch barrel, composite handle, good old Miken handle we're all used to. Brand new out of the wrapper, as you can see. Hitting a mix of 44s and 52s, just because we don't feel like sorting the bag out. Fences are basically 290 all the way around. Let's have a little fun.
Don't expect another strike.
Oh.
All right, so here we are with the boys checking out this 2024 Miken Ultra Mike Macenko Big Cat Edition. If you're interested in one of these, they are available at headbangersports.com. They come in 26, 27, and 28 ounce. And be sure to use code BPHero at checkout to save yourself a little bit of money if this is something you're interested in grabbing. Just covering some specs here to kind of get you caught up if you're not familiar with what this bat is. This bat features a 13.5-inch barrel, and I will say I was very impressed with the size of the sweet spot on this 13.5-inch barrel. It was absolutely humongous, and the Miken stuff has always done a pretty good job of having a really good sized sweet spot when it comes to their senior stuff. It has been maybe lacking a little bit in performance compared to the top tier stuff, but definitely still good. But this is, I feel like, their closest comparison to the top tier stuff. When it comes to performance. When I'm talking top tier, I'm talking stuff like Dudley and Suncoast and brands like that I feel like are definitely like top notch when it comes to performance. But other companies are catching up, and here's more proof of it right here. The composite handle on this thing felt like the typical composite handle that we've had on all the Miken Big Barrel stuff, whether it's U-Trip, ASA, or Senior. Their handles are pretty cut and dry. There's nothing to get too excited about. They'll call it something different every now and again, and it may have some nuances to it, but it's nothing that sticks out to me as different. They've all felt the same for years, in my opinion. Although I will say it is marketed to have a super flex handle to create higher exit speeds and greater distance for players with smooth swings through the zone. Again, maybe just fancy wording for something. Maybe it is different, I don't know, but to me it felt just the same. This bat does feature a full ounce of Endload, and it was definitely full ounce-ish when it came to the feel, as far as, you know, how you're able to drive with it and everything. I didn't feel it was light for a full ounce, but I didn't feel it was like in your face for being a full ounce of Endload either. Very subtle for being a full ounce, but still controllable and able to get some drive, which was my saving grace. As you know, this bat was a 26 ounce, and I do struggle a little bit with the lighter stuff. So I did have a bit of a challenge here, but there was no doubt that the full ounce of Endload definitely did some work with this thing. I absolutely missed a few, got completely out of the ballpark just because that full ounce of Endload was working for me. The 26 swings true to weight, and the full ounce is definitely there and lets you know that it's going to drive ball well for you, but it does a good job of not being overwhelming for being a full ounce. And something I do want to touch on here real quick, because this was pretty interesting to me, and it's the compression tester. When we put this thing on the tester, it's right where we want to see the senior stuff. I like to see them close to 200 and being 225-ish. That's right where I like to see it. And we put about 75 to 80 swings on this thing. We all only needed one round with it to declare that this bat's just really good. And I was a little blown away to see it down in the 160s already, coming in at like 165, 167 on my conversion chart here. And that was a little bit interesting to me based on the fact that, is it going to last? Is it going to be durable? I understand that, like, I am not a senior yet, but I'm not necessarily the hardest hitter, and William and Justin do hit pretty hard for being senior players. But I was a little surprised to see that. It doesn't give me durability concerns like throw up a red flag or anything, but because it could very well, you know, get there and hang out. But it's just something to note that, like, this might not be a BP bat. And kind of another thing that I noticed, and kind of makes more sense now after I got done hitting it and put it on the tester, was the fact that we saw a lot of knuckleballs and a lot of balls with a lot of funky side spin, which is kind of a typical sign of barrel, I won't say over compression, but a lot of compression out of the barrel, because what happens is the ball sinks into the barrel and then gets pushed back off, and it might grab it and kind of change directions of the ball a little bit based on how it grabs it and basically throws it back off the barrel. It's kind of how you get those knuckleballs and that funky side spin stuff. So I did definitely notice that, so when I put it on the tester, it kind of checked out. Not something to get overly concerned about, but it is something I did want to mention. So all in all, I must say I was very impressed with this bat. It is something that I feel like is a really good alternative to a Suncoast or a Dudley or something like that. That is definitely, like I mentioned, considered top tier performance. There are some other brands in there too, but those are just the two that stick out to me because those are kind of the household names. And this is something that would definitely compare to those two brands of bats. Probably the thing that impressed me the most was the performance out of the wrapper. And yes, I know I kind of talked about like how that does give me durability concerns and things like that. But even still, the fact that it's really good out of the wrapper, and then combine that with the fact that it just got better and better, and the Endload, the weighting, everything was good about it. I thought this was a really good bat. It honestly surprised me. I did expect it to be like decent, but to see this kind of performance out of it and have as much fun with it as we did was honestly pretty cool. It's nice to see that like some other companies are kind of starting to make a little bit of noise in the senior game when it comes to the top tier level of performance, and this is going to be right there with that stuff. I'm just going to be blunt about it. No, I'm not a senior bat expert, but I've swung, I feel like, enough to know what's going to be a really good one and what's going to be something that might be more middle of the road, maybe right below that top tier, but this is definitely going to be something that's in the conversation of top tier, if you ask me. William and Justin also got some really good performance out of this thing. Those guys hit the absolute tar out of the ball. Both of them hit multiple balls into the other field, and to get the end of the other field is about a 330-340 shot. Plenty of balls up into the trees, which again is 330-340 because it would go into the other field. And Justin went absolutely nuts with this thing. So the end of the video is going to be him having a little bit of fun with this thing. I kind of found where he wanted him. He kind of found where he wanted him. And he kind of put on a little bit of a show here. So just to kind of illustrate that, like, hey, man, this thing is actually pretty good. Huge thanks again to David for sending this out so we could check out a review on this thing for you guys. Huge thanks to William and Justin for coming out and hitting. And also don't forget, if you are interested in grabbing one of these, you can head over to headbangersports.com and get one. Use code BPHero at checkout. I'm going to hush up and let you check out the rest of the video here, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Swing hard in case you hit it. BP Hero. Catch you next time. Here's your trajectory thing you were talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God.
This fucking dirt. Right centered that one. And two, yeah.
There it is. That's a daddy shot right there.
Full 340 action.
Yeah.
All right, last one. Oh my God.
Just hit the ball.
It must.
Base hit. Jammed up a little bit.
The pad's like 340.
That's better. Felt better off the bat.
Oh yeah, he found it now. Just remember, this bat's not very.
Oh.
Hey, maybe your buddy just don't hit good with you.
That could be true also. Hit it. Top spinning them, I think. It
Yeah.
seemed like.
Oh no. Go ahead. Serious question. Did you